This teardown of a ASUS RT-N66U Dark Knight double 450 megabit per second in router. Why Dark Knight? I don't know. Is the pattern? I don't think Batman uses this weird plaid-like pattern, but yeah, and probably still a decent wireless access point. I don't know, it has some heft to it, but yeah, it uses this really stupid tiny power inputs, so yeah, forget this thing. And there's 4 screws under the bottom, under the feet. At least I'm assuming this had 4 feet at one point. It's down to 1 when I got it. I see, just looking through the bottom vents, there's either a really big piece of shielding or a heat sink. Just poked the tamper screws, so there goes my warranty. Alright, got the screws out. I assume this is probably snapped together as well. Alrighty, let's see here. My patience is thin. I think you know what that means. Oops, dropped it on the floor. Imagine that. Oh wow. Well, floor treatment always works. It's probably a better way to do it. Looks like there's snaps. But I need to check my cats real quick because they're being bad. Alright, I'm back. The cats were fighting with each other. But that is a massive heatsink. And alright, that is a heatsink on the back as well. This thing's pretty crazy. It's a shame they had a really dumb choice for their power jack. I don't think I've seen this much heat sinking on a wireless router before. They must have some really good reason for it. Boy, these screws are tiny though. Phillips 0 screws. Kind of curious to see what the brand of the wireless controller chip in this is going to be. I think this is probably on the newer end of wireless routers that tore apart. Oops, screws are going everywhere. Yeah, just basic piece of aluminum for the bottom. It wasn't coupled to anything, so I guess just heat radiating off of there maybe. I'm going to cut the pins for the top heatsink. This thing looks weird. Interesting. And then we kind of careful, because I don't want them to go everywhere. This one here. And where's the other one at? Oh, got all 3 of them there. There was no 4th? Huh, I don't know if I'm imagining things or if I just wasn't paying close enough attention. Oh, that's unexpected. Nice piece of extruded aluminum. Weird little wedge shape. I bet that was fun to make. But the heatsinks attached to the metal cans that are protecting the wireless portion of the device. And I assume there's a processor under one of those. Boing! Just spring a thing out into oblivion. Alright, Alright, just careful on those sharp edges. Ooh. These are so thin. Like paper thin. Like, that might be thinner than the cheap paper I use. There are some pads that are on the devices that get hot to pass that heat through to the top of the shielding. They're really soft and gummy. It's very satisfying. Although now my fingers are greasy. Wow. Just looking at this with my own eyes first. Or look at the back first. A lot of this, I don't understand. This must be shielding. Although it's not. Areas where there's not the cans. Is that shielding like for the signal path? I don't know. That's really weird. I've never seen. Plus, why don't you just silk screen over that if it's not something you're going to solder to? Bizarre. Looks like I got some filters and stuff there. And there's your boot flash, Spansion. See if we can uncover the rest of it under that sticker. S29GL256P10TF101. I think that's 101. Nope, TI01 I think. Yeah, I think that's TI01. So just in case, S29GL256P10TFI01. Because the one has just ever so slightest little piece sticking down that way. And this is all Broadcom based. Antennas are on little coax cables that go to these little headers. Probably a fancy term for it, but I don't know. These LEDs have a piece of rubber around them, which stuck on really nice. Wow. This is a really nice design. I've never seen rubber stick that good. Like, it just doesn't want to come off. Don't see that on things with other rubber feet that are glued on. MacBooks, Dell laptops, whatever. It just, don't feel like sticking anymore. Bye. But, like, that's just really on there. How'd they stick that on so good? Wow. I mean, I'm not prying as hard as I could, but that's impressive. Now, here's the controller chip, Broadcom, and I got some Samsung memory, probably DDR2 or 3, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell once you get to that, because it all looks the same. Gets a little smaller, I guess, but I can't get that to be readable. But it's Broadcom. And then more Broadcom over here. See if the flashlight saves me. Honestly, I can't even read it with my own eyes. But this portion here is controlling all the wireless. Yeah, so all the antennas are coming off of this module, basically. So, who knows what that chip does. But it might be doing the network switching, actually. That would have been internet in. These are your 4 gigabit networking ports. I assume this gigabit better be. Then USB ports. I've never really known what the USB ports on these do. I don't know if you can like hook up a hard drive. No. I'd stop for a second. I thought I saw PoE written on the back. I was like, what? But I don't know if you can hook up like a hard drive and share it over the network. I don't know. But yeah, this is really nice actually. I'm kind of impressed for a consumer wireless router. This thing is built like a tank. A massive heatsink that's physically passed through the pads through the covers to additional pads, so you have decent, transfer. Ooh. It looks like you could hack this. I think that's a serial header. Unless that's USB. I don't know. Don't really care. But if you're a hacker and you want to hack into this, I guess that header probably does something exciting. Get a look at the boot, maybe. This is a really, really cool router, actually. I think this is probably one of the few consumer routers, wireless routers I've tore apart that I've actually liked and been impressed by. It's just this stupid power jack. Could replace it. Replace it with a more sensible one. Something with a more standard size. I guess maybe, you know, I could use my Game Boy Color charger or power supply to run it. What's the input on this? Oh, wow. That is weird. 19 volts, 1.58 amps. I think they're using like a Chromebook charger basically to run this thing. Because that's what tip size reminds me of. It would be like Chromebook for, you know, something more modern. I think the Game Boy Color had an input about that small. But, interesting. Honestly impressed. This is nicely done. The heat sinking is nicely done. The shielding is presumably what this is all about is very interesting, whether it matters or not. But I wonder, you know, if this thing is actually pretty powerful too. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully that was interesting, and thanks for watching.